This has Addy Buckets on.
Hello, everybody. I'm sorry it took us a few minutes to get up to speed with our town hall this evening. My name's Damian Croson. I want to welcome all attendees to the Hidden Valley High School Open House Town Hall Forum for Tuesday, September 15th, 2020. Like I previously practiced, you guys missed it, but we do wish that all participants were here. We usually have a very large in-person open house with a barbecue, and but this evening we're unable to do that based on the limitations that we have due to COVID, and smoke probably would have played a factor this year as well. But I want to thank everybody for coming in, and I see some participants down on the bottom. For those of you who know other people who wanted to attend this evening but were unable, we are recording this and it will be posted for other people to watch. And this is just a information only, odds and ends, and a few things about who we are and how we're going to approach this opening quarter of the 2020-2021 school year. So Susie, if you don't mind, could you get to the agenda page? Next slide. One moment, there it is. Our agenda for the evening are these points. We're going to be doing some introductions. I've got some odds and ends that I want to just clarify, and then how we're going to be learning this year in the 2021 school year. This year's schedule is going to be covered by Assistant Principals Jessica Falkenhagen and Dale Fisher, along with learning environments, athletics, and activities. And then we're going to end with some questions and answers and then give you our contact information. So that's kind of what our agenda looks like for this evening. And if we could get started with our introductions, our next slide. And sometimes it takes a few minutes. Yes, you will see here, there's a couple of interesting elements here. So I am the person on the left, yes, with the pink popped collar and the white sweater. I did not normally dress like that. It was just for my senior photos. But this is the start of my second year at Hidden Valley High School. I did a 9-year stint in the Three Rivers School District at Illinois Valley High School, Lauren Byrne Middle School, and Lincoln Savage Middle School, and I'm now back for my second year at Hidden Valley High School. And I would like to introduce two new people to our team. And we'll go with the other person who's got a colored photo first, and that would be Miss Jessica Falkenhagen.
Hi, I'm Jessica Falkenhagen. This is my first year at Hidden Valley High School. Excited to be here. My 19th year in education. And prior to this, I was an instructional coach for 6 years in the Eagle Point School District. But like I said, I'm happy to be at Hidden Valley High School.
All right, I'll do an introduction. The senior new assistant principal in the black and white photo, Mr. Dale Fisher, who's also our athletic director.
Black and white because I'm from that era. I'm excited to be here at Hidden Valley still. I'm on my third tour of duty, so to speak. I've been involved at Hidden Valley High School as a teacher, a coach, graduation coach, and now an administrator in some capacity since 1994 with a couple of short breaks in there. But I'm really excited to be here and joining this great team and seeing all you come back to the building sometime.
All right. Well, that is the Hidden Valley High School team that's new to us in the 2020-2021 school year. I want to go over a few odds and ends for you before we get really deep into our presentation. But tonight, we're taking a look at all of the attendees at the end of our session tonight. And we have 4 gift cards that we're going to be awarding in a random draw at the end. I do want to do an asterisk. If you are Brian Miller, let's say, and watching, you are not eligible, Brian. We really appreciate you attending. But this is for the families and students of Hidden Valley High School who are currently here. So I just want to make that known, but we're going to do a $50 gift card to the Murphy 76 gas station and the Hidden Valley Market. And then we're going to have a $25 gift card to Casablanca and Pennington Farms, some local businesses that we want to support. Want to just let you know that this is a time in our careers that none of us asked for this. We never asked to be distance administrators or distance teachers or be this in a distance learning format. And so, just like we ask from our teachers, we're going to give grace and understanding and time for things that we need. We're asking that from our community and our families as well. This is new to all of us in many regards. We're all first-year teachers, but the growth that this team has made in the last 3-4 weeks has been tremendous. The learning curve has been it's been vertical, and they've done a tremendous job. But I just want to continue asking for some grace and understanding and time, and we do feel like that we're getting better and stronger every single day in this new comprehensive distance learning model. I just want to mention a little bit about communication. Anytime that you have questions, we'd like you to communicate with your teachers first. That is the direct point of contact for you and your student. If you're unable to, or if you have an extension question that just can't be answered, please come to the administrators. We're here for you. We'll have contact information for you at the end. And last but not least, if strike one and strike two, if you need to go to the district office, they're an incredibly supportive group of leaders up there, and they will help get answers to your questions. And I do just want to preface that if you skip step 2 and you get to the district office, most of the time they're going to kick you back to us. So please be diligent in making sure that you connect with your administrators here at Hidden Valley High School, because we're here to support you and answer questions that we can. In our model that we have, and we'll talk about this, I think Dale's talking about schedules. All of our teachers will be hosting office hours to support students. So I just wanted to plug that piece. I know that maybe your students will talk about classes at 10, 11, 1, and 2. There's also an office hours for students who need additional support and help, and that is usually at the end of the day, but each teacher has got a published office hour time. And typically it's between that 3 and 4 time frame, but there are a couple of groups that might have it in the morning because they have additional things that they're doing as a PLC in the afternoon. In these times, your students need your support. And so a couple of things I want to stress is please encourage them to check their emails in the morning and in the afternoon at least twice a day, 1 a.m., 1 p.m. And please help them with remembering to log in and being present in their classes at the 4 times that we talked about at 10, 11, 1, and 2. We have had a lot of questions in the last few weeks about work-related conflicts for students. We're treating this like this is school, and we would encourage all students and parents to support us in school being a priority right now. Let's do everything that we can to make sure that students are available and they are present for the classes live. Obviously, there is some flexibility with our Canvas system that we have, but please do everything you can to make sure that students are present at their classes. Here's another piece, in our time right now with a lot of things going on, I just want to let you know that we are a reliable source of information. Please make sure that you're reading our emails, listening to our center voices, our website. Dale has done a fantastic job with our social media. If you want accurate information, I'm not saying that it's inaccurate other places, but if you really want to know if school's canceled or if something has happened, we're going to do everything that we can to keep our community and our staff and students and parents up to date with information as it's changing. Keep us informed if your situation changes. As you know, the last couple of weeks, we've been the center of worldwide news with regional fires. And we know that some of our families have been affected by the situation and extended family. If you have anything that changes in your situation at home, please let us know. If there's a phone number that's changed, an email that's changed, a living situation or address that's changed, please let us know. And if you have fallen on hard times because of these situations, I want you to know that the school has resources. We're very lucky to partner with several groups, and we have the Josephine County Youth Foundation supports the GAP program that's ran by Megan Powers. If there's anything that they can do to help, please contact your administrators and we'll contact them, and we'll see what we can do to help support you with basic needs. At last but not least, on the odds and end pieces, this situation that we're in with the comprehensive distance learning, this is temporary. We do have the faith that kids are going to be back in the building. You know, obviously we hope that they're back here on November 8th, and that would be the start of our second quarter. But we know at some point in time that students will be coming back to school, and you should see this place. We've had so much work going on. Our custodial crew, our office staff has done an amazing job to get this building ready. We just need what really brings this building to life, and that is the students. So we're anxiously awaiting for their return, and we're ready when they do that. But in the meantime, let's talk a little bit about what our comprehensive distance learning model is and the way we're going to be learning in the next few weeks. So we do have some new technology here at Hidden Valley High School. All of our teachers have got MacBook Airs. We do have some Chromebooks that we've checked out. I think we're over 400 Chromebooks we've checked out to Hidden Valley High School students. We just got a new shipment of iPads that we're able to get to students as well that were on the waiting list. We've got hotspots. We've got several new pieces of technology that we're using. Canvas, Google Enterprise, the Wacom tablets. I can't see, there's, I think, Nearpod is another software that we've put into play for our teachers this year. I want to talk a little bit about what Canvas is and what is an LMS. An LMS is a learning management system. So I've had some parents contact me and say, what is this and what is Canvas? I would use the analogy, it's just like a painter. It's a blank piece of material. It's a location where teachers can store all of their instruction, their worksheets, their videos. It's a one-stop shop for them to store all of the things that they're covering in class. We're able to store those things there so students can access those multiple times in a week, over a weekend if they need a review, if there is a video that's been stored on there. It's a great learning tool for our teachers, and we really are excited about what Canvas is. It is new. I just want to say that piece, it's new. And like I said, the learning curve is vertical for all of our teachers, but they have made tremendous strides in the last few weeks. And we're excited about what Canvas is doing for us and will continue to do. You've also heard a new acronym. It's called TVOS or SOSA. TVOS stands for Three Rivers Virtual Online School, and SOSA is Southern Oregon Success Academy. TVOS was an online Edgenuity program that was designed for students that were having connectivity issues or health concerns. So we have had some students that have entered into TVOS. We also have a new school charter or district charter called Southern Oregon Success Academy that students may be able to apply for and enroll in. I just want to mention the piece with Hidden Valley High School. If students go into SOSA, they would be graduating from SOSA and they would not be graduating from Hidden Valley High School. And we want to do whatever we can to keep our Hidden Valley High School Mustangs here so they can graduate and walk across our stage. But we do support the mission of SOSA and what Mr. Michael Herzog is doing out there in Merlin. So if that is something that you're interested in, that is an avenue for some. There is a current waiting list for TVOS. Edgenuity, we have currently 700 students enrolled in that program, and we're waiting to see where things are. There may be a reallocation of some resources, but right now we are currently full with Edgenuity. We have a waiting list for students that are interested in that format as well. If we do get to come back, we're looking at timeline. We've got some things that the state of Oregon says that we need to do, and our county. If our metrics look good, there's the possibility that we would move towards a hybrid model. We've already submitted the hybrid model to the Josephine County Health Authority regarding what we would do. And it would be something where you would have the school split in half, and you would have an A group and a B group coming here 2 days a week. So most likely you'd have group A be here Monday and Wednesday, group B here Tuesday and Thursday. And the closer we get to the end of the first quarter, which is November 5th, we will know if we're going to be in a hybrid model moving forward. So, all right. So that is the learning for the 2020-21 school year for Hidden Valley High School. One thing I do want to mention is down at the bottom, there's a chat and a Q&A. If you have questions that you would like us to answer, please go to the Q&A part. The chat feature is something that we'll not be using at this time. So if you could put your questions in the Q&A, that would be great. So I believe this is off to you, Mr. Dale Fisher.
Actually, it's me.
Oh, it's Jessica.
Thank you, Jessica. So as Damien mentioned, we have a schedule actually that was built with the potential return in a hybrid model. So our schedule currently is what we're calling a 4x4x4 essentially. We still have 4 quarters, but each quarter, each class a student has will actually earn a half credit for those courses. So students have 4 classes, 4 days per week at the moment. Those classes are, for most students, broke down as 2 core classes with 2 elective classes. And again, that was built with the idea that when we come back into the school in a hybrid model, we would still be able to have students have those 4 classes in on that 2 days a week schedule. Classes are designated at meet times each day. So students have period 1 at 10 o'clock, period 2 at 11 o'clock, period 3 at 1 o'clock, and period 4 at 2 o'clock. And those are lessons that are taught live by their teacher in a format much like we're using tonight, except in a program called Google Meets instead of Zoom. It's a pretty neat thing where the students and the teachers still get to interact with one another and provide live learning and live support with each of the students versus a truly online environment where they're just working through a program on their own. So we're really excited about the opportunities that having live instruction provides for your student and for their educational progress. In addition to those timeframes, the students will be accessing those classes through Canvas and having the assignments and slideshows there. And that information will be posted later for them if they needed to review it. So it's all contained in the LMS, and it's a really good thing. Students also have an opportunity to get additional support with their teachers through the previously mentioned office support time. And those office hours are from 3 to 3:30 p.m. each day, Monday through Thursday, for those students to access those. As I mentioned earlier, students are at a half credit per course per quarter. And that means that they're going to be able to earn 8 credits during the year. On the next slide, I'll show you kind of a graphic representation of that as soon as Jessica gets back for me. So essentially, we have the students are going to have a class. Jessica, can you advance that for me? The students are going to have a period 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you can see I have a core A and a core 1A and a core 2A, and then 2 elective courses. And then the second quarter, which begins November 9, they'll go to another set of 2 core classes and 2 elective classes. And the reason that this is this way instead of 1A and then followed by 1B is that this really gives us an opportunity for students to have live instruction when we return to the building. So we felt it was better for a student to have the second half of the class live if we could return to that live model. So we're pretty excited about that, and the schedule works out for students to do that. You can see that they're going to earn a total of 2 credits, a half credit per class for each quarter, and the time frames as such. So that makes those classes a lot more content in that time, so they're getting a half year of content in those 9 weeks. So attendance is important for that. Next, we're going to move on to our learning environment. And so I'm going to hand this off to Ms. Jessica Falkenhagen to cover this next section.
All right, thank you so much. So, one thing that we wanted to talk about tonight was your students' learning environment and making sure that it is school appropriate. So all of the students the first couple of days of school had a few lessons with their teachers in regards to the environment of where they're sitting, what's behind them, what's in front of them, what can distract them in a meeting, things like that. So we asked the students to be aware of what your camera is showing, including your background. So if you notice that my background is school appropriate, it's okay if they want to put something up in regards to like a team or something like that, but just be aware of what's behind them when their camera is on and they're in class. Another thing we've asked our students, and again, this was all taught in some social etiquette for distance learning lessons that we had at the beginning of the year, and dressing appropriately was one of those. So we talked about making sure that you're coming to class in proper attire, making sure you're not showing up in your pajamas, that you're wearing same same clothes that you would wear to school. And so the students are aware of these rules. We just wanted to reiterate them and talk to the parents about that we are holding them to these standards, and we are having conversations with students that maybe aren't dressed appropriately, or there's something in the background that's distracting. It could be siblings. We know that's a problem, so making sure that that moves into like the visual distractions and background noise, making sure they have a set place to go into their class and to their meetings that is as quiet as possible. We know that a lot of us have siblings at home or other family members that are in the house, and that's okay, but maybe we put on our earbuds, so it's kind of cutting down on that background noise. And we completely understand that these things are going to happen. A baby's going to cry if you have a younger sibling. Again, that's okay, but just being aware of that, and that it could be distracting to others in the class. So if that happens, make sure you're on mute, and or if you need to move to a different location because somebody is, you know, doing the dishes in the background and it's clinking around. So finding that quiet location as well where you can really focus in on your work. We're just asking for your help and support that will help us as well as your students to be successful. And just remember to support our designated times. I think Damien mentioned that at the beginning in terms of a job, making sure that students are definitely showing up for class. As Dale mentioned, our schedule is pretty easy to remember. We kind of built it that way, that you have a 10 o'clock class, you have an 11 o'clock class, take a break, come back at 1 and come back at 2. We would love to have all of our students in, and our goal is to have all of our students in our live classes. So remind them of the distance learning etiquette that I just talked about. Again, if you want to say, hey, I know in your class, your teacher talked about this, they went over school-wide, it was all the same over what it should look like when you are in a classroom, making sure you enter in on Zoom, making sure that when you're talking, it's school appropriate, and just the etiquette. And when somebody else wants to talk, we're not talking over top of them. And every teacher shared their own rules for the classroom as well in terms of the chat features or how they want the students to respond, whether it's raising their hand virtually or using a button or something like that. So making sure that your students are aware of those and that you're supporting it as a parent. Again, we need to reiterate that jobs should not interfere with school. If we are in the building here, it would be the same rules. The school is a priority. Our goal is to have these students graduate, and so they need to be in class. They need to be there to get their information, to have that face-to-face interaction, face-to-face in terms of virtual, and making sure that they're talking to their teachers, they're communicating. So we just ask for your support, and like I said, we have had a couple of these situations pop up, and part of my job is the discipline side of it. And so students are being reported if they're not dressing appropriately, if they do not have appropriate things in the background, and we are taking care of those. So it's not that we're ignoring them, they are being taken care of, and there is discipline involved. So please, again, make sure that you're talking to your students and you're having these conversations and reminding them of this social distancing etiquette, as we called it. All right, and back to Dale.
Thank you, Jessica. So I'm going to cover some things related to athletics really quickly, as quick as I can. Talking about the athletic seasons, I know with the COVID and everything going on right now, there's a lot of questions around what we can and can't do and whether or not we're even going to have sports, et cetera. So there's a lot of questions about that. Feel free to send those questions to us and I'll answer them. I'm not going to have time to go through everything because there's so much guidance. But I want to talk about the season, signing up, the eligibility, and about staying in the loop. The USA has adopted a 4-season calendar. Season 1 is everything from September through December right now. It's kind of like an extended summer training. We're only allowed to have training and conditioning in limited numbers following specific social distancing and cleaning guidelines, et cetera. Season 2 is going to be our traditional winter sports in January and February, so basketball and wrestling essentially, swimming. Season 3 is going to be March and April. That'll be our traditional fall sports of football, volleyball, cross country, and the soccer programs. And then season 4 is going to be all of May and all of June. and that's for traditional spring sports of track and field, tennis, golf, softball, baseball, etc. For season one, athletes need to sign up through Family ID. And on Family ID, you'll be able to find that link on our school's website. If you go to hcmustangs.org and you click on athletics, on that athletics page, there's a Family ID link. Go to the next slide, please. And on that Family ID link, you'll be able to sign up for season one. All students have to be eligible in order to participate for season one activities, even though we're not going to have competitions for the most part. So you'll register for Family ID at hcmustangs.org, click on athletics. Students have to be registered for 3 classes in order to be eligible. That's considered a full-time student. Grades are based on semester one from 1920 year for their eligibility. You have to have a current physical on file and also insurance. So you'll sign up through Family ID like we normally do in order to participate. And then you'll just check the activities that you want to participate in. So if you want to participate in soccer, you'll check boys soccer, girls soccer, etc., and all the things that you have an interest in, understanding that you can probably only participate in one fall, one winter, and one spring sport in that. Coaches are going to contact you with dates and times once you've signed up. We're still finalizing schedules. I wasn't able to provide all that for you tonight as things are changing and we have minimum practice requirements for some activities. And with the smoke, we're not able to do a lot of things right now. So we'll give you more information about that later on. Finally, I want to mention that in terms of other clubs and activities, we're encouraging our club advisors to start having virtual meetings. So be on the lookout for that. We'll start announcing that such and such club is going to have a virtual meeting so that they can be connected with their students. Also, make sure to follow us on our social media. As Damien mentioned earlier, we're going to do the best job we can at keeping you up to date on all the activities that are happening and anything that is related to school closure, et cetera. And we're going to really start trying to highlight some neat things about what we're seeing from our students and our community. So stay tuned to that. And on the next slide, actually the slide after this next one, is going to be all of our social media feeds. So at Stang Stampede 1 on Instagram, HVHS Mustangs on Facebook, and at Stang Stampede 1 on Twitter. Thank you. I think we're back to, is it Q&A now?
Yeah, I think one thing that I'd like to throw out there, Dale, if you could just clarify, because the way OSAA does eligibility, I think you mentioned it, but just to make sure that the listeners know, if students are not on track to graduate at the end of the first quarter, because it is a half credit that students are going to be receiving for their classes, how is that potentially going to impact their athletic participation?
That's a really good point, Damien. So normally we would evaluate grades at each semester break, but since these are transcripted grades at the end of the quarter and a full half credit each, if students are not on track, if they fail 2 classes in the fall, or they don't pass 3, if they're only registered for 3, then they would not be eligible for the next season of play. So what that means is November 7th is, I believe, the last date of this quarter. So grades for the December start, December 28th, January sports are based on that. So a student who doesn't pass at least 3 classes this first quarter of these 4, they're going to be ineligible to start basketball or wrestling or swim in January. They could potentially become eligible for the second half of the season, but that eligibility won't go through until grades are posted, the transcripts are. So they're going to miss all but maybe 3 weeks of that winter season. And then likewise, if they do well and they're eligible and they fail more than 2 classes on that winter term, then they would be ineligible for the second half of that season and the first part of the next season 3. So these classes are very important, that your students really focus and they do well and they have that good academic performance and get these credits. It's more important for their graduation, obviously, but if they do have an interest in sports and activities, that eligibility piece is really important.
Great. Thank you so much for clarifying that. We have some questions in the Q&A. I think Jessica has answered a couple of them, but I think I'll take the first one from Sarah Johnson. It says, if they get to go back to school, what will the school hours be? We don't have a definitive answer on that. I believe what we tried to do in creating a schedule for first quarter, it was something that could translate easily into the building. I would make the assumption that we would have very similar classes and start times of 10, 11, 1, and 2. There could be some possibility of some office hours that would take place during maybe lunchtime, because I don't think students would have an hour lunch. There might be something before that 10 o'clock time or after 3. Don't forget, we do have 21st Century. This was a discussion that I had with the math team today. If you have kids who are struggling with math and you invite them to your math homework help, they may be able to stay after that 3 o'clock time frame, and then there would be an activity bus that would follow later in the afternoon, so a double route in the afternoon, so students could get additional in-person support if they come back. So I'm assuming that it would still be the 4 classes, and I would assume that the start times would be very, very similar. So that's what I have. Is there anything that you see, Jessica or Dale, that you want to try to tackle?
Yes, I actually saw 2. So one question from Amy was, will you email the parent if they aren't appropriate? Yes, so our current protocol is that phone calls are going to be made to parents. I have asked for student phone numbers so that I can talk to the student as well, or if the parent can put the student on the phone. The other thing is that I am emailing if I cannot get a hold of a parent by phone. And we also now have a Google form that is a student incident statement form that we are asking to be filled out by the student, so that if there's an investigation involved in anything, we can follow up that way as well. So it's kind of a tiered effect. It's a little different. Sometimes we would call the student in and have a conversation before we contact parent, but because of everything being virtual, our first contact is usually the parent, and then we start going from there in terms of talking to the student, emailing the student, whatever route the parent prefers at that time. The second question that I have is what do kids need to do if they have an appointment during school? If they would please email their teachers and let them know that they have an appointment, the response should be that they need to still log in after your appointment, check to see if they have any missing assignments, watch that video that was recorded, but they definitely need to have that contact with their teacher in terms of, hey, I'm going to be out. I have a dentist appointment. I have an orthodontist appointment. I'm really not feeling well. I can't get out of bed. So that the teachers are aware. You can still contact the front office and excuse them if that's the case as well. But we want them to still log into Canvas later when they're able to, catch up on any missing work, watch the video from that day's lesson. That's the beauty of Canvas, is they're going to be able to go in and find what they missed and complete that.
Okay. Dale, do you see anything that you want to tackle? Oop.
I did answer in the keyed an answer in about what is the website to go to for signing up for sports. The easiest way to get there is to go to hdmustangs.org, click on the athletics tab, and there'll be a little icon that says Family ID. I've also put that link in the answered question section.
Okay. I see a question here from Ms. Hartford. What if my student only has 3 classes right now, not 4, and she's a senior? In our conversations, we talk with the counseling department on a regular basis. There are going to be some students that have 3 classes right now and not 4. Some have 2. They are on track to graduate. What I would do if I were you, if you have some concerns and you want to just double check, please feel free to contact Amy Kablayan or Don Farmer. I believe Don is the counselor in charge of the seniors this year, but he has combed over the senior schedules multiple times, and I'm sure that your daughter is in good hands as far as the classes. If she has work experience that she'd like to add for that 4th class to get that elective, or if she would like to explore something as far as Edgenuity for an extension or enrichment, that is a possible exploration that we could have. So thank you for answering that question. I would like to address the hotspot question. I too, as a dad of 3 kids that are in school right now, Finding reliable internet right now is very difficult. A lot of people came out and got Wi-Fi hotspots. They went to their US Cellular or T-Mobile. They went to their cellular company and got some things. I have Viasat. We've had HughesNet before. Satellite internet is not the most reliable. We are ordering more hotspots because we do have, I just know the number between North Valley and Hidden Valley is about 91 kids that they may have internet, but a hotspot may make it better. And we're waiting for those hotspots to come in. We're checking in with Rob Saunders at the district office. He's our tech leader on a daily basis. And much like the rest of the world, they're trying to get their hands on computers and technology and hotspots. And we're just waiting for our number to be called. And as soon as we get those to us and we get them registered, they're going to be in the hands of the students and families that need them. Okay. Jessica or Dale, do you see anything there with those?
I'll answer the how are students making up failed classes. And so in terms of the way that works right now, hopefully students are registered for 4 classes if they failed one. Since we have the opportunity to earn 8 credits this year in our regular schedule, each student can earn up to 1 additional credit that they may have failed to catch that up, because we normally offer 7. So that's the first answer. That's the short answer. After that, then we have to work with our counseling department to talk about what credit recovery would look like. But for this year, that's how a student is going to make up classes. They're going to take 4 classes each quarter, and that's going to give them 1 full additional credit. If you have additional concerns about that, the best method to deal with that is to contact your counselor, your student's counselor. So Dawn Farmer is the counselor for juniors and seniors this year, and Amy Kablan will be our counselor for freshmen and sophomores.
Okay,
All right,
Jessica got the last one.
Okay, Tammy, I'm going to answer your question. It's a great question. If school goes back in session, but we as parents aren't comfortable, whether a student's immune compromised, with them returning yet, is there another option? So yes, we will work with your student on a case-by-case situation. Ultimately, we understand your concerns. Your concerns are very valid. And so I think that's something that we will look at as an administrative team and go over, discuss with you, what are you comfortable with, what are you comfortable with your student doing, and try to build a schedule or a day or something that is appropriate for that situation. It's not a blanket answer that we can just say, yeah, we're going to let you move here or do this. It's definitely going to be a case-by-case situation, and it also depends on what we have available at that time.
I'll tackle the foreign language question. So there's a couple of different routes that we have right now. Obviously, if you're a senior, we do have some plans for bringing back Spanish in the second semester. We don't have it in the first semester. We had our teacher leave in the latter part of August. We have that job currently posted. If time is of the essence, we may be able to explore an Edgenuity course for Spanish 1 and Spanish 2. That is a possibility as a Spanish major. I do know that having that ability to have conversational Spanish and the practice with a teacher and with peers is critical in the development of understanding a foreign language. We think we're okay right now, but if we have students back in an in-person learning environment, we have a couple of options that we're exploring right now to bring back Spanish 1, Spanish 2, and Advanced Spanish for the second semester, which, just to remind you, would be for a full credit, because each quarter is going to be a half credit. So you could get a year's worth of credit in the second semester if we're able to bring either of those opportunities to Hidden Valley High School for the second half of the year. So that's where we are with that, and I hope that answers your question. Go ahead, Dale.
In terms of kids going back to school in the middle of the semester, if the county allows, and will the semester finish out online, we're taking it a quarter by quarter. And I know each class during a quarter gives a student a semester credit, but we are evaluating at the quarter by quarter time. So we'll be evaluating toward the end of this quarter whether we'll return actually in November for quarter two, or the second semester, the way the grades are. And so that's how we're going to do that. We're going to try to just not interrupt what we have going with our current coursework, and then we'll start fresh with the next set of courses.
Great. Sarah asked a question about French. The teacher that left at the latter part of August was also our French teacher. Of course, if we could find somebody who was world language certified, we would love to have French, German as part of our elective offerings. We're at the mercy of who would be able to apply for that position. Please contact me, and you'll have this contact information is up. We're also going to be posting this video for other people to watch later. We recorded this. Please contact me on Monday so that you and I can talk a little bit more about what French is for your student, and we may be able to explore some options through some local community colleges or potential online program. That's something that we can do as well. But French right now is it's a difficult find. I know that there are other school districts that are struggling finding qualified foreign language teachers as well. But we're going to do our best and cast the net. And if we can find somebody who can do French for the second semester, we will absolutely do that. So I think that answers the questions that we currently have in the queue. I don't know if there's any other questions out there from any of the participants. But I want to just say one more time, thank you so much, Susie Biller, for being here tonight to help organize this and help putting this together. Addison Pate, our communications specialist for the district, helped set this up this morning as well. And I really appreciate Jessica and Dale being part of this team. We're really excited about this school year, even though it is in a comprehensive distance learning model right now. We've come together, and again, we're really excited about when students actually come in, and we're able to meet them and see their smiling faces when they get off the bus. I've got a couple more questions. I'll let Dale and Jessica answer. You pick the one, and I'll pick what's left over.
I'm going to answer the counselor one. So yes, students are allowed and counselors are available to our students. One thing that we do have every day is a check-in form that the students have to fill out when they join their class. And the questions in that check-in form vary from period to period and day to day. And we're collecting that information. So for instance, today was a question about their social and emotional health. And if they felt sad or anxious, and if they did they want to talk to a counselor? And once we received that information, that student's name went to the appropriate counselor, and the counselor is making phone calls. But if at any time they want to talk to their counselor, yes, they are available. They can email them, they can call the front office or talk to their teacher, and we will definitely make an effort to get their name and their information to their counselor.
Excellent. Now there's a question for you, Dale. You pick either one. I got the other one.
So Jolene, we are not having volunteers. We're not allowed to have volunteers in the building for the most part at the moment. But once students do return live, we will have more opportunities for that. And we'll send out notification for a call for volunteers when the need does arise. But right now, because of the COVID situation, we're not doing a lot with volunteers coming into the building. Very
good. And actually the 504 one's the one that I'm probably best to answer. I've done 504 for several years. Yes, 504 and IEP accommodations and modifications are absolutely applicable to Canvas as they are if they were here. If you have questions or concerns about any of the accommodations that your student needs to be receiving in the Canvas model, again, please feel free to contact me. I'd love to talk to you about it. And if we need to do an adjustment to a 504 to meet the needs of your student, that would be great. Would love to do that. And again, I'd be working with our counselors who've done 504s and helped to organize IEPs as well. We'll sit down with you, but please contact me on Monday and we'll talk about your specific situation. But yes, 504s they're still active. They're year to year. So if they were in play last year, they roll over. and teachers have access to accommodations and modifications in our Synergy system. So thank you for that question. Awesome. Thank you, Tammy. Dale, Jessica, Susie, thank you so much for being here tonight. And I think we're going to be signing off. But Hidden Valley Mustangs, hopefully we'll see you soon. And parents that were out there, please feel free to contact us. And if you have any questions, we'll do our best to answer them. And we'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Go Stangs.